It's a funny thing to think about. How does one become a leader? Are you a born leader, a natural leader? Is it something you choose? What is it exactly? In this episode, I am going to reflect on my own journey and how I found myself, or chosen, I'm not sure yet, this path of leadership. The first memory that comes to mind, I'm about 12 years old. I'm living in an abusive spiritual community. If you know anything about my story, that's a whole nother story. And I have not done a podcast episode about it yet, but I will. So I'm in this spiritual community. At the time, I'm completely devoted. I absolutely believe in everything we're doing. And I was a young girl, often invited into workshops and retreats that were all adults. And there was this particular exercise we did where we made our own candles. And through a meditative journey, we came up with a word that really resonated and exemplified what we wanted for our life. And the word I came up with was inspire. Even at that young age, I wanted to inspire others to be great. I was what they might say a natural leader. And what I mean by that is whenever there was a group of kids around, I'd be choreographing a dance routine, getting people to go on some adventure. I was always the babysitter. I was always put in these leadership roles and called ultra responsible. But it was something that lived inside of me. I liked being a guide. I liked inspiring people. I liked lifting people up. And I think it came from the fact that I needed a lot of that. Around that same time, I was also struggling with deep sadness. I wasn't diagnosed as clinically depressed because nobody was going to take me to the doctor, but I did have moments where I even contemplated whether or not I wanted to go on living. So I think I had learned how to lift myself up and out of desperation. And I needed to do it so desperately that I began to do it for other people. And I found enjoyment and purpose within that. Of course, there's a side of that that's dysfunctional, right? And can be considered codependent. And I'm highly aware of that now at this point in my healing journey. And that's one of the lessons that I have to learn in leadership. But as life went on, I had knockdown after knockdown after knockdown. And I found myself in my late 20s completely lost from that path of leadership or wanting to lift people up. I'd turned to drugs and alcohol and self-destruction and kind of this attitude of like, none of it matters. I'm not worthy. I'm not going to survive for many more years anyways. Just a big like F it. And that made me so miserable, so sad, so miserable because I didn't have that internal desire to live. I didn't have that internal desire to uplift my soul and my heart and find the beauty and the reason for being alive. I also wasn't lifting up the people around me. For me, having this innate desire or ability to be a leader and influence and to inspire can easily switch to the other side of things. I remember a friend telling me once when I was in this destructive part of my life, Arin, this is what he said to me, Arin, you have the ability to turn on the sun and you have the ability to turn it off. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, depending on your mood and how you're feeling, you can walk into a room and you can lift the whole room up and you can inspire everyone. But if you are not in a good place, you come in and you take the whole room down. I was like, whoa, harsh. But I took it to heart. I really thought about that. and realize that I have been born with a gift to inspire and uplift. And that gift can easily be turned into something for evil, for not good. And I think that was actually the moment, as I'm reflecting now, thank you to that friend. I think that was the moment that things started to shift in my mind, when I started to think, oh, maybe I do have a responsibility. Maybe I do have something to offer the world. Maybe I am of value. And I think that started this shifting and this changing in me. So I did get myself up and out of that life. I had to claw and scratch my way out. And one of the ways that I got out is I found my network marketing business. I found doTERRA essential oils, and I began to not only learn about the essential oils and teach other people about the essential oils, but I started to read personal development books. I started to go to personal development seminars. I began to be in trainings, and I really began to understand this concept that my thoughts become my reality. And the people I spend my time with are who I become, like that influence. And that I can either feed my mind negative thoughts, negative programming from media, or I can feed my mind inspirational thoughts and read books and listen to audio tapes that lift me up. And this all started a change within me, but I still didn't know or embrace my role as a leader. I was still acting from a place of me, survival, right? Just trying to get my needs met, just trying to pick myself up from a bad and dark place. And the path to leadership has happened somewhat reluctantly, because at first I thought if I wanted to be a leader and to influence others and to inspire others, I could never let anyone see me down. That goes back to that dysfunctional thinking from my younger years, which is like, it's my responsibility to lift the room up and inspire the room. And what that didn't leave room for was my own emotions, my own flow, my own ups and downs. We can't always be happy all the time. That's not natural. We can't always be high and full of energy. So my first stage of leadership was rather inauthentic, because I felt like I had to kind of put on an act. You know, I had to put my big girl drawers on and show everybody the smiling, positive face and like everything is fine, where truly a lot of my wisdom and a lot of my leadership comes from the fact that I have explored and experienced very low lows. And I am not happy all the time. And things are not good all the time. And I actually have to care for myself with the utmost attention so that I don't go down into those deep places of despair. But I wasn't showing anyone that. I was just like, yep, everything's great. I'm a leader. My job is to inspire. And what this did is it left me feeling totally burnt out, inauthentic, not seen, like nobody really understood me. The people who did see me, I would kind of push them away because that was uncomfortable. It didn't really work with what I was trying to do. And it's really in the last few years, since 2020, and I had my second child, pandemic, you know, all that stuff happened, that I began this excavation of this next level of myself. And now I feel like just now, am I ready to dip my toe into true leadership? And for me, true leadership means that I do the work. I've gone to the depths of despair and I've learned the tools to pick myself up and out of that and make the choices in every moment so that I can be the healthiest I possibly can be, which does not mean I am always happy or I'm always on cloud nine. It means that I know how to feel my emotions, move with my emotions. I can be authentic and real with people. And that is an inspiration. And that is an act of leadership. So this episode marks a big change in the podcast, but it also marks a big change in where I'm going in my own personal development and my leadership role. It means that I am here to share authentic, real, vulnerable stories with you from leaders so that we can learn how to overcome. So we can learn how to pick ourselves up out of despair. So we can learn the tools that we need to keep ourselves walking the path through this life in the right mindset so that we can truly lift up our communities and grow together and spend more time in that place of love and understanding and truly, truly change the world for generations to come. That's what the podcast is about now. It's taking a bit of a shift. You're going to start to see that. Not a huge shift, just a little shift of how we're looking at things. We're going to be exploring incredible stories from incredible people. And I will be diving into the different tools that I have learned over the years. I want to be really transparent with you and tell you what I do to keep myself moving forward and not falling completely into that place of despair and like it doesn't matter and I don't matter. So this week, I'm going to talk to you about my foundational, like base level self-care practice that may seem insignificant, easily forgotten, or some of you might be like, oh, yeah, of course. But there might be some other people listening. You might be listening right now and going, oh, I need to pay attention to that. That can make a big difference. And it is hydration. Yes, hydration. It's this simple. So for some people, this may be you, drinking water doesn't happen. You're more of like a tea or a soda or a juice person. And if you are feeling tired, you have headaches, you have stomach aches, you're not sleeping well, you're grumpy, your hormones are imbalanced, you feel hungry all the time, it might be that you're actually dehydrated. Some of you might be drinking water, but you're not paying attention to the quality of your water. You just turn on the tap, drink it. Or maybe you have a Brita filter and you think that's good enough. Our water is not only filled with toxins, but it's not alive. It's not structured. So I'm going to invite you to invest and research and get a high quality filtration system. You have to look at what's going on with your water. Maybe have your water tested. If you live within city limits, find out what's in your water. If you're rural like me, get your well tested. My particular situation, we have a well and it has a lot of minerals in it, like too much. And so we invested in a distiller. So we distill the water and then we have a countertop filter that also restructures the water. It's from Niken and it's called a waterfall. I can put the links in the show notes for you. So our water gets distilled, poured through the filter, it restructures the filter, and then at least once a day, a couple times a day, I am adding a little Celtic salt and a few drops of citrus essential oil from doTERRA. The Celtic salt gives me extra minerals, electrolytes, which will help my body actually take in the hydration. The citrus oils from doTERRA are gently detoxifying and cleansing to my liver and kidneys. They help to increase glutathione, which is the natural antioxidant that helps our immune system function. And they have an element in it called D-limonene. Go to pubmed.gov and put in D-limonene to find out what it does for your body. It's incredible. The oil that has the highest amount of D-limonene in it is tangerine. It's like 97% delimonene. It must be doTERRA oils. Most essential oils sold on the marketplace are not pure. They're adulterated. They have contaminants, fillers. It's not going to be good for you. For internal medicinal use of essential oils, it's doTERRA only. I'll put a link in the show notes so you can get your doTERRA oils. Okay, so water is this whole thing, right? Am I drinking it? First of all, just water, not tea, not coffee, not soda. Is it filtered? Is it restructured? Does it have elements in it so that I'm actually hydrating? And then how much am I drinking each day? So a mentor of mine has always taught me that you want to drink half your body weight in ounces of water. For me, that is about 3 quarts of water a day. So if I don't pay attention to how I'm getting that, it just won't happen. So this is what I do. I have a quart-sized mason jar. And when I wake up in the morning, the first thing I do is fill that mason jar with room temperature water. I put my Himalayan salt, a few drops of tangerine or lime or lemon, wild orange. You can mix and match. And then I drink that quart down. Then I can have my coffee and my breakfast and go about my day. Before lunch, I'm going to drink another quart. And then before I go to bed, a 3rd quart. So take a look at how much water you're drinking. You might need to work your way up towards this, and it depends on your body weight. Half your body weight in ounces of pure, filtered, restructured, mineralized, good, yummy water. Just start there. If you don't change anything else about what you're putting in your body or you're doing with your body, and you just focus on that hydration, I promise you, things are going to start to feel different. It's incredible how easy it is and how hard it is, but it's something I return to. If I start to feel funky or out of sorts, my mood isn't quite right, my digestion isn't right, I go, wait a minute, Arin, are you drinking your water? And I have to reset it because I will forget, I will get busy. Other things will become more important. Maybe the kids didn't sleep well and I wake up and I'm like, just give me my coffee, and I forget the water piece. But returning to the water is so, so important. So I hope you are looking forward to the changes in the show. And we're going to be bringing on some great guests. And I will continue to drop these little nuggets of wisdom and tools that you can use to begin to step into a leadership role and to find your own path towards wholeness and happiness and purpose so that you can really love being alive and being on this planet. And most importantly, being in community and creating the world that you want future generations to be a part of. So together, let's do it.